Biovac, the public-private partnership aimed at boosting South Africa's vaccine manufacturing capability, has just received a 2 billion rand boost. This is to ensure future supplies to the country doesn't find itself in the back of the queue when the next global health catastrophe strikes. Its current facilities can make 120 million doses, but expansion plans can up that to 500 million doses annually. Dr. Morena Makhoana is the CEO of Biovac. He's on the line with us now. Doctor, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. So this expansion, what exactly will it involve in terms of infrastructure, manpower, and what are the time frames?
Yeah, thanks, Tafuma, and thanks for having me. I think this is something that is quite important, not only for our own company, but for the country as well. And I would even extend it to the continent in that COVID-19 pandemic has demonstrated why we need much larger vaccine manufacturing capacity. We've seen export bans, and whilst even some of our companies locally are going to be involved in COVID-19 production, the volumes that we actually need going forward needs to be much larger. So that necessitates us to expand and have much larger facilities. And that's so that we are able to at least play in the international arena in terms of the volumes that we can take out, not only for the likes of COVID and the future pandemics, but also for routine vaccines as well, which is quite important because there's so much scarcity of vaccine production on the African continent.
So who are the consortium partners that are providing these finances? And are you able to go into details about the structure of the financing?
Yeah, so I think, firstly, I think, a business like ours is extremely capital intensive. You have high fixed costs. The regulatory system is such that you need also high level skills. And so the type of funding that you need if you just go to a traditional bank, does not suit the sector that we are in. So fortunately, we've been able to partner with development finance institutions, which is the announcement that we made yesterday. And those are essentially government-backed type of funding. So we have the likes of the IFC, International Finance Corporation, which is part of the World Bank. We have part of the German government's funding entity called the DEG, the French government's entity called Propacol, the UK government's entity as well called the CDC. So we are having international support from development finance institutions that are looking to fund our expansion. I mean, the details of the nature of the transaction is still being worked out. Like anything, we'll have to pay back the money in time. But I think what is important about development finance institutions is that they take a long-term view. And that's essentially the crux of the matter, is that a business like ours, you need to take not only a 5-year view, you need to take a 10-year view, because facilities take about 3 or 4 years to build. You have to commission them, and then only then do you produce. So hence the profile of the consortium members that we have put together, and that have been very receptive in wanting to partner Biovac.
In terms of COVID-19 vaccines, is it going to continue to be just the Pfizer vaccine exclusively, or is that going to change in future? We've heard talk of different vaccines, new vaccines that will be able to deal with the many different strains of the virus that will likely pop up.
Yeah, so at the moment, Biovac has partnered with Pfizer, with the current mRNA vaccine that has been rolled out in South Africa since last year. So Biovac will be producing that at the end of this year in our current facilities. I think your question is important in line with the funding that we've secured. So what we are aiming to do is that in our new facilities, and because COVID is going to remain with us, we hope to get out of the pandemic, but COVID will remain with us, and it may end up being a booster type of vaccine, a routine vaccine. But because it's going to live with us, we want to have much larger capacity. And hence what Biovac is going to be looking at beyond Pfizer, and we're in discussions with other partners, is to really go further and really go deep into COVID-19. Now, that's not the only vaccine that we'll be looking at. we're looking at other routine vaccines as well, and I'm sure towards the course of the year, we'll make further announcements in that regard.